Okay, guys, so we've been talking about compose and decompose um, fractions. And so we kind of been doing it in a way of drawing pictures. So today we're just going to look at straight, just kind of looking at it where we are going to be adding the unit fractions together. So you're going to need this handout that says break apart, glue together fractions. Okay, so it says write the sum that is represented by the fractions. So we're going to be composing these unit fractions. So this top part is going to be compose. That just means we're going to add. Okay, and so I'm going to do two of these with you, and then you're going to do two of these on your own for me to check over. So let's look at number one. So we're going to be adding these fractions together. And so the first thing I want you to do is I want you to look at the denominator. And if you notice, our denominator is the same. I have 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5. So they all have a denominator of 5. So that means that my sum is going to have a denominator of 5. Okay, so what I'm going to be adding is the top part. So I'm going to add 1 plus 1 plus 1. And 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 3. So my fraction is 3/5. So 1/5 plus 1/5 plus 1/5 is 3/5. Okay, let's look at number 3. So I'm going to look at, I have 1/6 plus 2/6 plus 2/6. So my denominators are all 6. So that means that my sum is going to have a denominator of 6. So I'm going to go and I'm going to add the top. I have 1 plus 2 plus 2. Okay, so 1 plus 2 is 3. 3 plus 2 is 5. So my fraction is 5/6. So 1/6 plus 2/6 plus 2/6 equals 5/6. Okay, so your denominator is going to stay the same. What you're adding is the numerator. Okay, so I want you to do number 2 and 4 on your own. Okay, let's look down at the bottom. Here it says write an addition sentence that equals the fraction. So this is where we're going to decompose. We're going to take apart this fraction. Okay, so my fraction is 7/8. So my denominator is 8. So that means that when I'm writing out my addition sentence, I'm going to make sure I have a denominator of 8. And then my numerator is 7. So this is what I'm going to be breaking apart. So I can say 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8 plus 1/8, that's 4, plus 1/8, that's 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And instead of keep going on with ones, I'm going to do plus 2/8 because I know that 1 plus 1 is 2, 2 plus 1 is 3, 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 plus 1 is 5, and 5 plus 2 is 7. So that means that if I were to add all of these together, I would get 7/8. So I'm taking this number, my numerator, guys, and I'm breaking it apart. Okay. So that means that if I was to have, these would be all the pieces in my whole. Okay. Let's look at number, um, let's look at this one over here, number 2. 4/6. So I'm going to look at my denominator. My denominator is 6. So that means that I'm going to use that same denominator and I'm going to be breaking apart the 4. Okay. So there's a couple ways we can do this. I can say 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6 plus 1/6. Because if I were to add all my numerators, I know that 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1 is 4. Or I can think of another way. What are some other ways to make 4? Well, I could do 2, 6 plus 2, 6. Okay, 2, 6 plus 2, 6 equals 4, 6. Okay, so there's two ways you could do it. Okay, so you can think about what are some different ways to make 4, or you can just do ones straight across. Okay, so kind of like over here, we did what are some ways to make 7. So we did ones and then we added a 2. I could have done 5 eighths plus 2 eighths, which gives me 7 eighths. Okay, so there are several ways you can make your additions in it. So you have 2 at the top. This is where you're composing. I'm going to be putting all of these fractions together. Okay. And then down here, I'm going to be decomposing. I'm going to be taking this fraction and breaking it apart to make an addition sentence. Now remember, when you break it apart, it has to match this. So that means if I were to put it all back together, it would have to match the 7/8. So over here you have 3/4. I'm going to break it apart and write an addition sentence. But you have to make sure that if I were to put that addition sentence back, it would show 3/4. All right, guys, I'm going to be checking these as you're submitting them. I'm going to be checking them as you're submitting them. If I see something wrong, I'm going to ask you to go back. I'm going to reassign it and I'm going to ask you to go back and fix it. Okay.